Welcome to the Blerdsnerds podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blerdsnerds podcast. I'm Shannon.
I'm James.
I'm Jaja.
And we're back for another week, all three of us. I think it's been a while. We didn't have an episode last week, and then the week before, I think it was just me and James, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
But now we're back, and it's a great week to be back because we have a lot to discuss this week. Stick around. We'll be giving our spoiler heavy review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Before we get into that, though, let's get into some nerdy things. How have you guys been?
Been doing good. I haven't been that nerdy. Y'all could go ahead. My nerdy things are quick. But I'm trying to think of more nerdy things.
Okay. James, do you have anything?
List here.
Okay.
I've been a little bit slightly busy. Last weekend I went to Something in the Water, this music festival in Virginia Beach. So nothing too nerdy out there. But I did send in my Joy-Cons for my Switch to get replaced. So they fixed the drift for you kind of for free. You just got to pay for the shipping. Nintendo will. So getting prepped for Zelda's release. And then I'd been playing Smash Bros a little bit more. But yeah, with my Joy-Cons drifting like that, I was some trash. So I was like, all right, let me finally get these fixed. So yeah, I sent those in. They should be back this week. They shipped them back on Thursday. Actually, I'll probably go check my mail after this. So yeah, that was one thing. I started watching Dr. Stone. They had a special that released before the actual season. So it's like season 2.5, I guess they called it. But it was like an hour-long special. So I watched that. And then I'm about to get caught up on the episodes. Dr. Stone is one of my favorite animes, so excited about that one.
Nice.
And what else did I watch? Just the usual suspects. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, I watched that as well. So that's all my nerdy things here.
I'm glad that you guys went to see this movie, because if one of you guys came here this week and told me you didn't see the movie, I would have been very upset. Is that everything you did, James?
It would have got spoiled for them anyway.
Yeah. That 1 week long or 4 day long embargo would have been done.
All right. Are you anything else for you, James?
Yeah, one more nerdy thing. So Plus Ultra, they have their Villains Ball coming up. So I've been chosen as a special featured guest. So I'll be one of the VIP guests at the Villains Ball this coming actually May 20th. So it's in about 2 weeks. So they sent me a VIP. It was like a invite. So it's a box. So I got to do an unboxing, which I filmed it. I got to edit it and then I'll post it. But
nice.
Yep, looking forward to that. Super excited.
I want to go to that, but I don't think I can go. Unfortunately.
Oh, man, come on.
Yeah, I know. I have a wedding to go to the next weekend, and then the next weekend after that, I'm going to Florida. So I was like, my finances are not gonna allow for this right now. So I have to cut something out.
Oh,
so
yeah, I know that feeling.
What part of Florida?
I'm going to Orlando, Jaja. I don't know if you heard.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you listened to our episode a couple of weeks ago, but I bought an annual pass to Disney World. So I'll be going there a lot. So I'm going there this weekend to go to Disney World. I mean, not this weekend, in June. I'm going the first weekend in June to go to Disney World.
Okay, we'll speak off mic, but yeah.
Okay.
Dang, I want to go.
Make it happen.
Oh wait, one more nerdy thing for me.
Might have a Disney ticket for you, James, if you can make it out here.
Ooh.
Oh, you said enough. I'm gonna look up some flights right now. Yeah. So yesterday, May 6th was actually free comic book day. So I stopped by a comic store, picked up free comics. So I got this Marvel Voices.
Nice.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of characters on here that I'm not the most familiar with. So I'll read that. Actually, I'm lying. I still haven't read my own comics that I have. So at some point, I'll read these.
All right, so I'll go next. I didn't have a super nerdy week, but I did do a couple of things that were really cool. So I've been playing my Steam Deck after days of trial and error. My boyfriend has been like downloading a bunch of emulators and stuff onto my Steam Deck. So like I have a PlayStation 3 emulator, and like I have a GameCube emulator. I have a whole bunch of emulators on here so I can play different things. After trial and error, so I got Kingdom Hearts on here, the PS3 version, so I'm able to play that. And then after many days of trial and error, my boyfriend was finally able to get Breath of the Wild on here. So now I have Breath of the Wild on my Steam Deck, and it plays at a higher frame rate on the Steam Deck, and it looks a lot better too. So that has been cool.
Just to disclose before you continue, Shannon owns all these games in real life.
Oh, yes,
That's
I do.
why she can download the ROMs. Right?
See.
I do own them.
Emulators
Yes,
are really dope.
Yes, I do own Breath of the Wild on my Switch, but I'm also playing on my Steam Deck with mods Breath of the Wild. So instead of playing as Link, well, I still am Link, but my version of Link is a black.
Sailor Moon.
No, it's like a black elf, which is cool. So it's like a black female like elf that I'm playing as
Nice.
instead of like the traditional Link. So it's pretty cool.
Now that you're a
Yeah.
PC gamer, you might have to get into that modding culture. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
maybe. I know. So
It's
like it's
insane.
really cool playing like that. And then there's a whole bunch of other mods that I put that are on the game. Like there's like a balanced mod which kind of like makes things a little harder, and like there's like different settings that you can shift in the game. And then like there's like a music mod, and like it has some of the original, like some of the older music from some of the older games on there too, instead of like the music that's in the game. It's like it's really cool. So I am pro the Steam Deck right now, playing Breath of the Wild. So maybe I can finish it. I don't think I'll be able to play the new Zelda on my Steam Deck because it took a that's so I have to, when I finish this game, I have to go back to my Switch to play the new one. But you know, it's cool right now to play this one on my Steam Deck.
What are the odds you'll get this one finished before Tears of the Lost Kingdom?
Oh, I won't. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't need to get it right away. I'll get it, you know, a couple weeks late. It's fine. I'm gonna play it regardless, but I gotta finish the first game. What else? And then that's it. I didn't do anything else nerdy. That was the only nerdy thing I did, but that took up a lot of my week. And then I went to
a break from Hogwarts.
Yeah, I am taking a break from Hogwarts. I did try to play that game actually this past weekend, but I was really tired. I like turned it on and then I played for 15 minutes and I turned it back off. So
Well, didn't you restart Star Wars too, the first one?
yeah, well, I never played that game, so I didn't restart it. I just started it, and then I put that down in favor of Zelda to prioritize that game. So that's the game I'm playing. That's the game I'm playing now.
I've been wanting to play that Star Wars game ever since you said that.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I'm gonna get back to it. But I wanted to. You know me, I can only really play one RPG at a time. So Zelda is the game that I'm prioritizing right now.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on Thursday night. Those are my nerdy things. What about you, Jaja?
My nerdy thing. So I've been a little busy, but I have been. Oh, I actually went to Disney last Friday. I went to Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. First time at Disney. It was really dope.
This is your first time at Disney World?
It was my first time at Disney.
Ooh, nice.
In the years I've been to Orlando, yeah, I've only been to Universal and SeaWorld and a couple other parks, but like never been to Disney. It's been on my list. And it was really dope. Went on the Hollywood the elevator ride. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, the Tower of Terror. Yeah.
Tower of Terror.
I love that ride.
That's the first thing we did. And definitely I would have to say it's the most thrilling thing we did. And it was cool. I was terrified at first. The actor who led us onto the elevator, he deserves a bonus. I wish I had his name so I could shout him out on the podcast. But he explained to us the ride or whatever, and then he walks away, and then he comes back and he just starts looking through the crack of the elevator, looking. Doesn't say nothing to us. He's just looking through the crack, and then he pulls out his flashlight and he's looking above the elevator, and now my heart is like pumping through my chest. But like he let off a little smirk that gave it away, but it was too late. My heart rate was up. Like so, that definitely made it a lot more fun. And what else do we do? I went to the safari. Got all the animals were out at the safari. Got nice pictures of all the animals they had, the lions and the rhinos and all that. Trying to think of the other rides we went on. But yeah, it was cool. I plan on going there again to visit the other parks, and that's it. In terms of like watching stuff, I haven't been doing much watching of anything. I did rewatch that Xbox Power On documentary that I was telling you guys to go watch.
Oh yeah, I've never finished that one actually. Now that you say that, I watched like the first two parts.
Ever since like I'm seeing the trailer. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for Gran Turismo and Twisted Metal.
No.
But they both have trailers out for the shows that are coming out. And that just like reminded me of what they tried to do with the Xbox One, focusing on like TV and movies. And they came out with Xbox Entertainment Studios and how that kind of like slowed them down. And I'm like, Dad, we were early on this because now Sony hopped on it, and it's gonna work because the Gran Turismo movie trailer. I don't know if they didn't play the Gran Turismo trailer for you guys in
Oh, they did.
Guardians?
Yes, they did. They did. Yes.
Like it's like at first I was a little skeptical, but by the end of the trailer, I was like, oh wait, that could work.
You know what's funny, Jaja? When I saw that trailer, I thought of you because they showed the scene where they were like doing like training, where they were like running around the track and doing like physical training, and I was like, oh, I guess racing is a physical sport. I have to tell Jaja that he was right. So I'll give you that one.
Score one for the race drivers, man. Shout out to all the race drivers. You are athletes.
That's a good circle back.
Yes, I thought of you immediately. I was like, oh man, maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
That's great. But yeah, I do want to see that movie. And I don't know, the Twisted Metal, I need to see another trailer because the trailer didn't show nothing but Anthony Mackie in a car. Like, it wasn't much, but I got to see where they're going with that.
I don't think I got that trailer.
No, that one wasn't in the movie theaters.
Oh,
that
okay,
one is separate. I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, this just dropped like a week ago.
Yeah,
okay.
It's brand new, but it has potential. I just don't know where the storyline's going because Twisted Metal's story was not there, if anything. So
I don't remember the story.
that had me. Yeah, so that's it. I haven't been doing anything. No, that's it for my nerdy things.
Nice. All right, so let's get into some news that happened this week before we get into our review of the movie. Speaking of Hogwarts Legacy, we brought it up earlier. I am taking a break from that game right now, but it has passed I think 1 billion sales, or like 1 billion in sales, I think, which makes it, yes, it's crossed 1 billion in sales in just over 3 months. And that's pretty huge for a game.
And it just became available on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Yeah, so it's probably gonna get, the numbers are probably gonna get a lot bigger than that.
It's gonna go even crazier.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm still on my no buy-in until I upgrade either to a Steam Deck or Xbox X. So I need that next gen.
These numbers should push the developers to make some DLC, because the creators had originally said, like, when the game first launched, that they didn't have plans for DLC. So I feel like the sales of this game there's a lot of things that this game could benefit from, like a lot of upgrades. So I hopefully this pushes them to drop additional content for this game. But yeah, it's a good game. I recommend everyone play it. I should have finished it by now because it's very easy, but I just haven't had the time to play it, and then I gave up. Well, I didn't give up, but I'm on a break for right now. But yeah, everyone should play it if you haven't played it already. And then Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is about to come out is it this week? Next week that it's coming out?
Yeah, this week on Friday.
Oh shoot, this week. Wow, I'm really behind. So preloading has begun. James, did you pre-order the game?
I did not. I just reached out to what I would call the plug and see what kind of discount I can get.
Who is the plug? What plug do you have?
I have a friend that happens to work at Nintendo.
Oh. And you're gonna be able to get a discount on the game? Look at you.
Well, it's actually like the Nintendo. It's like a paid subscription thing, but it's available to everybody. Yeah.
Oh,
he's just the person that pays for the thing, so he's like cash out him every year. So.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I don't think it's an employee discount. It's just a regular. I think it's like the family pass. I don't even know what it is. I just know I send him $10, and then I get upset because I got to send $10. So.
All I know, I send the money and the game comes back. That's it.
No, I don't pay $10 for the game. I pay $10 for my share of the family pass.
And with the family pass, you're able to play the game on your Switch.
No, I still got to buy the game.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I'm describing this very poorly, guys.
Yeah,
wait.
This is a complicated process, right?
Yeah. No, so there's like I think it's called, let me see, Family Pass Switch.
I was about to say.
But, there's like a Family Pass per Switch or something like that. And then, I have no idea what it's called. But
is that like there's a Nintendo subscription service, like for everyone to get online with that?
Yeah, it's an annual. It's not that. It's something else on top of that. It's like the PlayStation Plus Premium kind of thing. So it's
like
closer to that.
Pass?
Not Game Pass. You still have to buy the games. You can buy vouchers for discounts of like 20%. So
So
That
yeah, I
sounds
still have to
horrible.
purchase the game for sure. But
like that's horrible.
I think
Okay,
I'm
wait.
describing it worse than what it is.
So you pay $10 to receive a 20% off voucher for the game.
Okay, so this is what it is. It's a
let's
family
do
membership.
our research. Can we do our research, guys,
Nah,
and come
yeah, I
circle
got-
back to that topic?
Wait,
I got
James
here.
has it.
It's
James has it.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch Online, the family membership. So it's $80 a year. So it happens to be 8 of my friends and I, and we just split the cost of that. So then we have our family pass. So then you can get discounted games since you have the family pass.
Got it.
So it would be $80 a year to get family pass access, and then you can get access to the vouchers that give you 20% off of the games. But you still have to pay your $80 for the family pass at baseline.
Right. Okay. But that can't. So is that for new titles too? So they automatically come discounted. So Zelda, is 20% off for you.
Correct. If I buy a game voucher.
If you buy okay, so the game voucher is still additional money on top of the $80 baseline.
Well, the game voucher, yeah.
Okay, so you pay $80 for the year, you and your friends,
Yep.
and then you have to buy the game voucher.
Correct.
How much is the game voucher?
And then you gotta buy
The game voucher is $90.
The game voucher is $90.
I don't understand
Wait,
that.
wait.
We need a Nintendo rep here. I'm
Wait,
describing
so
this thing badly.
Is the game voucher $90 for the year, or is it $90 for how many games? I'm confused.
Let me look it up.
I'm trying to see how this is beneficial.
I tried to say
I'm not
let's
seeing
do
it
our
myself either.
research and come back to this. Because that sounds like a lot of money.
All right, here's what it is.
Okay, wait, yes, go ahead.
Oh wait, you don't even need the family pass to buy the game vouchers. That's great. Okay, so the family pass, ignore the family pass. The game vouchers, Nintendo Switch Online members can buy a pair of Nintendo Switch game vouchers and redeem each one for a digital game in the voucher catalog to score savings. So you pay your $90, you get 2 game vouchers, and then you can get discounted games that are in the game voucher catalog.
I don't think you're saving
only
money.
2 discounts.
Are you really
Correct,
saving
only
money
2.
at that point? I don't know.
It does not look like you're
It
saving money.
doesn't seem like you're saving money.
Because you're buying the thing that saves you money. That's
And
the
you're
part that I
paying-
don't understand.
And if the game voucher was like $20 or like 15, 20, I think maybe you'd be saving like a little bit. But if you're paying $90, I feel like you're not. I feel like the difference there is like you're not saving any money. It's all a trick. It's a trick, guys.
I think I'm spending more money. Nintendo, you have fooled me.
No, there's something to it. We gotta come back to that. I'm telling you.
Who's the president of Nintendo? We're gonna call him up here.
Okay, but then
that was great.
But then the friends and family pass lets you download like certain games from the library for free. Is that what you said?
So that low key. So you can get the emulators for free. So I have the Nintendo, the 64, the Mario Kart Deluxe 8. I got the booster course pass for free. Animal Crossing, the expansion for free.
Okay, so you can get
that you can actually get like actual free stuff. So
okay, cool.
Just not games. Yeah,
so
just
not games, but just things. Nintendo will do anything to not give you a discount. Nintendo's such a scam. I don't know why. They don't know what the word sale means.
I'm about to say over here on the Xbox side of things, like you just buy your subscription and then they're like,
PlayStation
hey,
2.
Look at all these games that are on sale. And I'm like, great.
Sony also. I feel like Nintendo just refuses to give you anything at a discount, but they want to make
free games. Do you download the free games every month for PlayStation?
Not every month, but yes, I do. Most of the
ones
time.
I like,
I download them all religiously. Like it doesn't matter if I'm gonna play it or not. I have my gaming profile is crazy. I have like 500 games probably on that.
But then Nintendo just wants to make you think you're saving money, but you're actually not. That's so funny. That's crazy. Okay. Well, thank you, James, for that enlightening.
That was very confusing.
For shedding light on that. That does not sound like
so you guys are dusting off your Switches for Legend of Zelda. Is that
I will be in about a month when I finish this first game. Did you finish the first game, James? I thought you didn't.
No, I nearly did, and then I felt bad because I had held this person's game cartridge for too long. Yeah, so I think I'll buy this one physical.
I thought about not finishing Breath of the Wild, but I didn't even get anywhere close to finishing it. So I thought like I should probably give it a real shot before I go on to the new one. So
I was storming the castle, so I was like, I mean, I was there, but you know,
yeah, I wasn't anywhere near there. It was not anywhere near. Okay, so you have to let us you're gonna get this game on launch.
Yes.
All right, so you have something.
Wait, am I free this weekend to be even able to play it? Let me check. Because I don't want to get it and then just not even be able to play it.
That's very true.
I might as well wait a week.
Yeah, no track meet this weekend, so I will be playing some Zelda.
Awesome. So we expect a report back next week. Our initial thoughts on the game.
I'm gonna beat the game.
You're gonna beat the game and
I'm playing.
No, I feel like you can't. That's too fast. After spending all that money,
there's no way.
You should. I feel like after spending like $60-$70 on a game, you should not rush to finish it in 2 days. I feel like it's a waste of money. Gotta take your time. Make the money worth it.
Because it is hitting for 70 when it drops.
70? I feel like Switch games have gone up in price. Have they not?
That's the new standard price of games now.
$70. The price of a game.
Yeah, but like for a Switch, I feel like that should not be the standard price of a Switch game because.
Why are you throwing Switch hate?
I mean, I'm not throwing Switch hate, but I'm just saying, what are we paying $70 for? Top tier graphics? Absolutely not. Not on the Switch. I'm just saying. This
is top tier of Switch graphics, though.
I see what you're doing, Nintendo. I see it.
Listen, Shannon, back in the day when Sega Genesis games came out, they were $60.
Well, I know, but like back in the day,
and that
the standard for video games was not that.
So I'm just saying, it seems to just be the price.
I guess that's a lot of money. I'm definitely waiting before I buy that. Okay. Any other video game news, guys, before we move on? No, I don't think anything was happening on the video game front. On another front, though, storms are brewing in the production world. I don't know if you guys have read a lot into the writer strike that's going on, but sorry, I forgot exactly what it is, but there is a writer strike going on, and it's caused all the Tonight shows have shut down because the writers are on strike, and it's also causing certain movies that are in production to shut down as well. And Blade is one of the movies that has pre-production has shut down while we're in this writer strike. The headlines are a little misleading about this. It's making it seem like pre-production will never start back up again, but it will. It's just shut down. Well, eventually when the writer strike is over. No one really knows how long it's going to last. But in the meantime, pre-production has shut down. Wow.
Yeah, that headline's clickbaity. And then you didn't Blade like just recently change writers or directors or something like that.
Something.
So they had to restart pre-production. I think that's why they phrased it like this, to get the clickbait, because of what I feel like. But writer strike's unfortunate. Pay the writers, man.
Yeah, pay the writers. So a lot of things are shut down right now. And then a lot of people have paused their productions as well in solidarity with writers as well. So it's like the people that are actually affected and the people that are participating in solidarity with. So yeah, we'll see how long this lasts. And yeah, pay writers, pay VFX artists, pay everyone who's does a lot of the important work that are underpaid right now. It's crazy. Pay comic book artists who you're stealing people's work from. Pay everyone. Everyone needs to get paid. But yeah, we'll see how long this lasts. It's been about a week or maybe a week and a half so far. But yeah.
Sorry.
Was that a real train? Oh, okay.
Yes, it was. That was a real live train.
It sounds like it's in a room with you.
I know.
Is that loud? Damn.
Yeah. I thought it was a sound effect. I thought you were watching a video like on your thing.
We can act like it's a sound effect. Hopefully that doesn't happen often.
It's fine. Okay, guys. So there wasn't a ton going on this week, and we kind of want to devote a lot of our time to speaking about this movie. So highly anticipated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 released this past week. If you have not seen the movie, just a spoiler alert. The title of this podcast is going to be spoiler warning for Guardians of the Galaxy. If you haven't seen it, don't listen to it. Don't listen to this podcast anymore, because we are going to be talking about it. Heavy spoilers. So when did you guys see the movie? What day?
Thursday night.
So did I. And Jaja, you saw it yesterday, right?
Last night. Yeah, last night.
I have a funny story real quick. I saw this movie in IMAX and they loaded a 3D movie like into the projector or however they play the movies now. So there was a certain part of the preview after we got through all the previews, and then a thing came on screen saying like, "Oh, time to put your glasses on," but like no one had glasses, so like we all went outside to like talk to the people, and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. It's not supposed to be a 3D movie." So they had to restart it, and we had to watch all the Well, not we. It started from the beginning, so like we had to watch all the previews again, and then it took like 15 minutes into the second set of previews before they fast forwarded it, and it was quite annoying.
Right.
So we were in the movie theater whole extra almost 45 minutes than what we needed to be. So that was fun. But yeah, so before we get into the movie, let's talk about the box office numbers. So I believe on just Thursday alone, it raked in, I saw something like $48 million just on Thursday alone. And that's considered the preview day. And now globally, it's on from this weekend, it's projected to hit about 260 million globally through this weekend. Which is nuts. So yeah, that's 71.5 from the international box office and 150 from domestic. So yeah, highly anticipated, and worth it, in my opinion. Let's start with our initial reactions to the movie. What did you guys think? Initial thoughts. Don't go to.
I loved it.
Jaja, what did you think? Your opinion is always a hot take, so I'm very interested. What your initial reaction?
My initial reaction?
Yes, like how did you feel when you left the theater?
I thought it was gonna be in my favorite Marvel movies. Like definitely in my top 10. Like
Okay.
It was a really, really good movie.
It was good. It was good. And it was needed too. After a few Marvel movies that kind of like were there, but like kind of missed the mark. We all needed this. It was very refreshing, I felt, and it was like very good. I think it's like one of the best Marvel movies I've seen since Endgame came out. It's definitely the best one.
I think I would have enjoyed it more without all the hype and all that stuff. I think the hype kind of messed it up for me because I'm watching the movie, bracing myself, waiting for somebody to die. And like it never happened, but we got faked out. Everybody had like a near death experience in the movie. Yeah. Like we thought Drax and Nebula were gonna die early. Groot was gonna die early because Adam Warlock dragged him. We thought it was over for him. What happened? I mean, Gamora died already, but Quill had a near death experience. So like and then Rocket had his thing, but everybody, I was just waiting for that sad moment, but the sad moments didn't hit me because I'm waiting for the death. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I gotta watch the movie over. But I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a really freaking good movie. It's just I was just like sitting there bracing myself for death the whole time. And that kind of took away from the experience.
I don't think I went into it thinking anyone was gonna die. I thought the movie was fantastic. It was so good. But I think the fact that this movie had such an impact and no one died at all is like a good that's a good thing. That means that like you don't have to kill off anybody for your movie to have impact and for it to be good. Like it was it was a good way to end the trilogy. Like no one had to die, but people can still something can still come to an end without somebody dying. And I feel like he did a really good job with like sending off the characters into whatever they're going into. So yeah, it was I was very, very relieved that it was so good, but I didn't doubt it. James Gunn's movies are always really good. So I know people didn't really like the second Guardians movie that much, but like it's actually not that bad.
I was one of those people. I wasn't a huge fan of the first and second one. I thought they were cool. Like, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this is the best movie ever. I was like, yeah, they're cool.
Oh, the first one was great. The first one was really good.
I'm gonna have to go rewatch them, and like they're both probably gonna be elevated in my ranking.
Yeah, rewatch 100%. Them. I rewatched them like in the background this weekend after I saw the third movie. The first one I've always really liked. It's always been like in my top 10, the first one. The second one, I didn't like the first couple times I watched it, but you guys know I've seen these movies like over 6 times each. The second movie has grown on me, so I think it's overhated. I don't think it's that bad. So I think like if you rewatch it, I think you might have another opinion about it. upon the rewatch. But this movie was definitely my favorite out of both of them. Really, really good. What about you, James? Where does this one fall in?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
The
Guardians. I don't remember the first two that much. I have only watched them both once. I don't remember
James, you don't like to rewatch things, do you?
Not at all.
I haven't rewatched a lot of the stuff either. I'm the same way. It's too much.
But have you seen it more than once?
Guardians?
Yes.
No.
Oh my gosh, guys. Wow. I guess I'm the only one that finds comfort in rewatching things.
Even in my master rewatch, I skipped Guardians because I was like, yo, like they take me to a different place because they're like so like the MCU Earth is over here and then they're in space over there. So I feel like it's not really connected sometimes.
Oh my God. I feel like Guardians.
I skipped those two movies, yeah.
I feel like Guardians has the highest rewatch value out of any Marvel movie. When I do a master rewatch, the movies that I skip are the Ant-Man movies all the time. Skip them. I skip them all the time. All the time. I was like, I don't want to watch this, but I always watch Guardians. And
my opinion is probably definitely going to change after this movie. I thought this movie was like amazing.
Just to kick it back to the first movie real quick, the first Guardians movie was definitely connected to everything else because that was the first time, besides the end credit scene, that we saw Thanos and like we actually kind of saw what was going on with Thanos and the Infinity Stones in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I don't think people appreciated that like as it was like coming out, but like if you sit down and you rewatch everything, it kind of hits you like how important that movie was because like that was the first time that like we actually saw him, got to know him a little bit, and like got a glimpse of like what his plan was. So that movie is actually pretty important. So
I'm one of those people that didn't appreciate those two movies. So
yeah. So everyone should rewatch Guardians, the first one. Everyone should just do a master rewatch of the entire Infinity Saga. Look at James's face.
I said just watch everything.
The Infinity Saga, guys, not Phase 4 and 5 and whatever that is. No, rewatch the Infinity Saga. It's a good watch. When you watch everything all together in chronological order. So in this movie, go ahead, Jaja.
I was gonna say real quick. I got a funny story about me in the movie theater. Mm-hmm. Towards the end, Groot's. I don't know if you want to talk about Groot right now, but when he finally spoke in English at the end of the movie and was like, "I love you guys," yo, I shouted out, "Oh shit," mad loud in the theater, and I don't know if I was the only person, but people started laughing. I was so surprised at that. That caught me off guard.
So I was listening to a podcast about this movie, and one of the hosts was talking about like how they thought that part was a little corny, but then another one of the hosts was saying that like they don't think that Groot actually spoke. They think that it was translated for us so like we could finally understand what he was saying just in that last moment. And I was like, oh, that is a good way to look at it. And I'm pretty sure that is what it was meant to be taken as, instead of him actually speaking English.
I heard that theory too, and I think either way is dope. Like if we're finally hearing what the Guardians hear when he says "I am Groot," then that's
I like
cool.
that. I like that better than him actually speaking.
I think that's cool too. I think that's dope.
I think I like the second one. I like the first thing you said better. Like us being able to understand what he's saying, I think is better than him actually speaking. Yeah,
we've been in this journey for three movies now, so we should be able to understand them.
Yeah, 3 movies and 7 appearances across. There 3 of their own movies and then their appearances and other things.
Right. I get what you're saying, because let's say he's talking to somebody else that's not a Guardian, and it's like they shouldn't understand him.
No.
Just like Gamora coming in new, she didn't understand what he was saying because she's not been with the group. Yeah, if you haven't been rolling with group for a minute, you shouldn't know what he's saying. So I think it was being translated to us. That would make more sense.
Mm-hmm. So this movie is primarily about Rocket's backstory, which we've heard hints about like throughout his time in the MCU, but we never really dove deep into it. Heartbreaking backstory, guys. It was very sad. It made me, as somebody that loves cute animals, this was like almost a little disturbing. So like, how did you guys feel about like everything? How did you guys feel about everything surrounding his backstory? What were your thoughts about that?
He didn't hold anything back.
Who?
Oh, yeah,
James
it was
Gunn?
a touching backstory.
Yeah.
Touching. It was disturbing is the word that I was like, yo, this is pretty graphic.
It
Like,
is. Oh my God. Speaking of graphic, I think this was the most graphic Marvel movie that I've seen ever. There was just a
like
lot. This movie was very violent for a Marvel movie.
I'm
I'm very
surprised that
surprised.
the animal cruelty people like aren't
PETA?
out
Yeah.
there, even though they didn't use real animals.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
know.
still just so like, oh, holy crap! Like taking out the animal's brain and putting it back in, and
Yeah.
just disconfiguring them and putting them back together.
It was rough. I was whispering. I was like, I was whispering to my boyfriend. I was like, is this animal abuse? I'm like, this is. I mean, they're like not actual because it's like you said, it's not actual animals, but like still, like it was like,
Yeah,
it was disturbing. It was, but that made it all the more touching and all the more real to me. Like,
it did.
yeah, and all the more
It
like
added to the
believable.
story.
It def-
It wasn't like pointless. Like I don't even know the word, but
yeah,
it had a meaning. Like, you know, you were supposed to feel this. You were supposed to be disturbed by it. Like
yeah,
Rocket came from from an effed up place, and
yeah. Seriously,
it is
seriously.
what it is.
And like we all understood his struggle a little more, and like it was like a great, they took their time and like explaining that and not just writing it off quickly. It was really good and really sad. Yeah.
He definitely has a way more interesting backstory than anybody on the team.
Oh yeah, 100% for sure. For sure. 100%. Um and yeah, well, maybe let's get into the villain now
So
since we're talking about his backstory.
real quick,
Mhm.
while we're still on Rocket,
Mhm.
the first scene of the movie when it showed all the little raccoons like all curled up together, like moving around, my brain immediately went to like Ninja Turtles when they were when they were young, when they were
Yeah.
showing the backstory in one of the Ninja Turtle movies, and when they were all cute little turtles running around each other. I don't know why. My brain just went to Ninja Turtles, and then they happened to show a turtle getting mutated into something that looks like a Ninja Turtle later.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
was a
yeah.
weird moment. Yeah.
I remember that. That whole, we'll get to that. That
Yeah.
like that whole colony of that whole colony was disturbing. I was weirded out by that whole thing. Let's get into the villain since we're talking about Rocket's backstory. Not Adam Warlock. That we'll get to him later. So the High Evolutionary. What did we think of him as a villain?
He was great. His acting was great.
His acting was great. His acting was great. And what is this actor's name? I don't know what his name is. Hold on.
I think I would have liked him more if we weren't just coming off of Ant-Man with Kang. He
It
had a
made me
similar
like.
suit.
Oh,
He
I mean,
had the
yes, he
same
did.
color. He had the same powers, and no explanation of nothing. I don't know nothing about this dude from watching this movie unless I missed it. So
I
I'm
mean,
very disappointed with that. I
well,
didn't like.
if you go back and watch the other Guardian
Maybe I
movies,
missed some.
if you go back and watch the other Guardian movies, it is hinted at. So like I said, I rewatched the first two Guardians movies yesterday, just like in the background while I was trying to get some work done in the house. So in the first movie, when they're first arrested, and they're going through everybody's like bio when they're like intaking them, it like Rocket's backstory is mentioned a little bit, like illegal experimentation by such and such. Like he's mentioned a little bit. So it's like if you're paying attention and you clock all that, or if you've rewatched the movies recently before watching this movie, like it goes into a little bit of a backstory. But
I'm talking about his powers. Like
his
I know
powers.
he existed, but
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what
Okay.
are your powers?
Okay.
You have the same powers as Kang. You have the same, not same, but like similar suit, same color. We just had Kang last movie. You didn't think I was gonna notice that? Like, why did y'all
True.
do that?
But I honestly feel like this actor and his name, I can't really pronounce his name, so forgive me. It's Chukwudi
Chukwudi Iwuji.
Iwuji. Yeah. I think that his performance was more compelling than Jonathan Majors' performance as Kang. I think he did a way better job. So, I mean, not to hate. I'm not hating on Jonathan Majors. I'm just saying that his
They both were really
performance.
good.
They were
Let
both
me
really
say that.
good.
I like the High Evolutionary's performance.
Yeah.
It's just that he just reminded me of Kang too much. I couldn't appreciate it enough.
I feel like he would have been, not to hate on Jonathan Majors. Again, he had a great performance too, but like I enjoyed his performance. I thought his performance was a little bit more compelling than Kang's performance. I feel like it was a little bit more raw, and you could tell that he was a crazy madman. I believe that every second. It was great. He was great. He did a great job. So I didn't find myself comparing him to Kang in like those ways, because I thought that his performance just popped and like didn't make me want to think about it. I don't know. And
I kept go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say that his God complex reminded me of James Gunn theme for the DC universe, God versus monsters. Like you could try and be a god, but it'll turn you into a monster type of thing. And it's like it's such a fine line because the past big Marvel villains have been these people who are trying to make a perfect world in their mind. Yeah. So it's like it's a little weird.
And he was very sadistic. I like the backstory that he like created the Sovereign, which were the golden people that we saw in Guardians Volume 2, for those that remember the movie who've watched it more than once. And they were in this movie as well. And they were in this movie as well. So like, yes, you'll remember them. And that he creates all these civilizations, and then like I like how it shows his ruthlessness and like how he really doesn't give a fuck, because he like literally blew up the whole civilization of the weird animal people that we saw.
They're just experiments. He'll destroy them whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, it was. I really bought into that. I thought it was great. And James, what did you think about him?
I thought he did a great job. It like the moment he stepped on screen, I was like, all right, this guy's a villain. Versus like Kang, there was like, all right, there's good Kangs and bad Kangs. So like he's teetering the fence, but I'm like, all right, this guy's here for only villainy. And then I guess even like some of his other things that he's in, he's usually like a more villainous type of character, because I believe he's in Peacemaker too. I don't remember his exact role, but I feel like he was like a shady.
He was in Peacemaker. He was.
Yeah, and he was in John Wick.
I forgot about that. Okay, I forgot about that. But yes, that makes sense, because James Gunn, he does reuse a lot of his actors and stuff in different things.
This guy, he's getting a bag because he's in DC and MCU now. So
yeah.
And him destroying his experiments, that reminds me of Kang pruning timelines. Like there's so many similarities that I wouldn't have minded them saying he's a variant of Kang that decided to take this route and genetically perfect people. Maybe. And that would have been cool. That would have been easier for them to transition from Jonathan Majors with all this stuff that's happening, because we don't know what's going to happen with him, which I'm still very conflicted about with this freaking DC Flash movie coming out and Ursa Miller stuff getting swept under the rug. But that's a whole nother subject.
Yes. But no, that would have been a good rewrite, actually. I think so. Right? That would have been good, especially with this, since it's supposed to be like whole Kang's evolution. If they made him, well, I mean, people would have complained. Yeah, people would have complained about that massive inaccuracy in the comics, but I feel like it would have worked in this whole saga that they're trying to do to make him a Kang variant. That would have been an interesting and cool thing to do, and it would have made Kang. People left Ant-Man not impressed with that version of Kang because he just like was disposed of so easily. But I feel like this would have like restored some people's faith in the different Kang variants. I think so. I think if they would have went that route, that would have been cool. Where does the High Evolutionary rank in your top? If you had to pick your top 5 MCU villains, where would he rank? Would he even be in the top 5? He's in my top 5, I think. Would he be in?
He'd probably be in mine. I can't think of a top 5, so that's why I think he would be in my top 5.
Is there really like a lot of villains to put in there?
No, like, I mean Thanos is definitely in there.
Let's say top 3.
Top 3.
In your top 3.
Top 3. Okay. Thanos, High Evolutionary, and I don't even know who I would give the third one to. The villains are not compelling.
Honestly, I would put Ultron in mine.
Ultron is 100% in mine.
Yeah, that would round out my top 3. Thanos, High Evolutionary, Ultron.
I think I would agree with Ultron, because I can't really think of who else would be in there. The villains in these Marvel movies have not been super compelling.
Are you talking about the villains and like all the villains that exist in Marvel, or just the ones that came out
in the MCU? Yeah, in the movies,
okay.
In the MCU.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kang's in mine, and Loki's got to be in mine.
Oh, Loki. Loki doesn't count as a villain to me anymore. I mean, he was a villain once.
He's like Vegeta. Yeah, he's a villain.
That's a good comparison. That's a good comparison. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds like a topic discussion.
Right? Nah, for real.
Let's put it in a rundown.
Yes. We'll table that.
Table
That's good.
table.
Yeah. So yeah, the High Evolutionary, great villain. He really brought a lot to the movie. Oh, thanks, James, for typing that in there. I love that. Thank you. So when we were talking about like our theories for this movie, I had a very specific question as to how they were going to explain this version of Gamora's existence in this movie, which they kind of did, but like also kind of didn't. So I wanted to know how you guys felt about Gamora being in this film and like how she ended up there. Did it bother you that it wasn't really explained how she's alive?
I didn't question anything. I was like, all right, there's Gamora.
How did you feel about it, Shannon?
Well, it bothered me for about 5 minutes, but then I wasn't bothered by it anymore. So when she first appeared, I kept leaning over and asking my boyfriend, I'm like, how is she here? How is she here? How is she here? No one's explaining it. And then Peter explained it for like 5 minutes very casually when they were in the elevator with that girl from the corporation. And he still didn't really explain it. He was like, oh yeah, like she came back and then like when everyone got like zapped away, like she still stayed here and like we don't know why. I'm just like, okay, so this is the way.
When Gamora left them, she disappeared. Like the first Gamora died, but the second one disappeared. Like she was never dead.
Right, but everyone else, he said that everyone else kind of like disappeared and was sort of dead, but except her. But we don't really know why. Like she stayed around.
No, he said everyone who's ever died never came back except for her. So he was referencing anybody who's ever died in the MCU. They've never come back from life.
But everyone that came through the time portal with Thanos, when he came back at the end of Endgame, they were all snapped away into dust, just like the others were.
Okay, now I see where you're
going. Yeah, and like it wasn't really explained how she's still here when everyone got snapped away into dust.
Okay, removing the snapped away into dust. Like if she would have just disappeared and now she just exists in the timeline, that would make more sense, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
But I just never understood how everyone got zapped away and then she didn't get zapped away. Why is that? I just feel like that wasn't explained well. And maybe I'm the only one who's thinking that deeply about it. I don't know.
No. Now that you're saying that, I would have to rewatch the way they got rid of the old timeline people. But yeah, I remember them being something like a snap away, and they should have all been gone, including Gamora. But let's say that's a plot hole.
Yes, it is. It is a plot hole.
She exists. So she exists. And I thought the way that they did her arc was perfect. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Like without overlooking that loophole.
Yeah.
Like her joining the Ravagers and then us seeing at the end of the movie that she had the same experience that the first Gamora had with the Guardians, but with the Ravagers. That's the way I took it. Like that's her family. That's who showed her love and took her in. And like, she just doesn't know Quill like that, but you could see if she stayed with the Guardians long enough, it would have happened to her the same way it happened to the first Gamora. I thought it was epic.
Oh yeah. Her arc was great. So that's why I forgot it. So like for the first 5 minutes that she was on screen, I was mad. I was like, so they're not really going to explain how this is possible. But then I forgot about it. I like stopped thinking about it after a while. I just let it slide because I'm like, all right, they're not going to explain it, but she's here and what they're doing with her is like really good. I loved what they did with her. I love that she didn't rejoin the Guardians, which is what I think people thought was going to happen, but it didn't. I think that people were expecting her and Quill to get back together. I'm really glad that didn't happen either, because it's like, I don't know, it just came full circle. Like,
yeah, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. It just came full circle. And I like how they like ended it with them where it's like they were on good terms and she like realizes that like maybe this could have been a thing, but like ultimately she decided to go like back to like her life that she knew. Like, I thought that was really good. And I'm glad that they didn't do the typical thing that we were expecting to happen. So I don't know. I loved it.
Still leaves the potential for them to get together in the future, but it didn't have to happen right now.
Yeah. Yeah, not at all. So here's James Gunn proving that even if you have a massive plot hole in your that's just only purely exists for like a plot driver because you need to have this character in your movie.
He needed that one plot hole, boy.
All you have to do is make the movie good enough where people won't care about it. Because that's essentially what happens. DC. Yeah. Well, he's gonna be
If
in
I
DC now, so we'll
if
see.
I could sit here and say, let's just cover up this plot hole, does the story still make sense? And I'm satisfied. Then it was a
Yeah.
good plot hole.
It was a good plot hole. You just have to find ways to like make the movie compelling enough, or the character compelling enough, where people won't question it. And I think he did a great job about that, because I stopped questioning it. I was like, all right, she's here, cool. So that was good, even though it technically didn't make sense. Adam Warlock, what did you guys think about him? Was he a strong character, or was he a character that kind of didn't even need to be in the movie and was only a plot driver to save Peter's life at one point?
Yeah, he came on the scene. At first, I thought it was the main villain because I only watched the one trailer. So he came and he just immediately wrecked everything. I was like, all right, this is going to be good. But then I thought they killed him for a second. I was like, oh, no, there's no way. And then, I thought he was a strong character.
Yeah. I thought he was an okay character.
Yeah, same here. Like, he came on the scene strong, and you're like, yo, look at this super OP character. He's about to wreck stuff up. But then he just became the backdrop for the rest of the movie. And then you find out he has the mental capacity of a child, and you're like, okay, I see what you're doing, Marvel. You got me for about 3 more movies with this guy. Take my money from now.
Yeah. So he definitely faded into the background. He came on strong, and then like he wasn't as important as we discovered like the real plot of what the movie is, and he was just there. And every time he showed up after the first part, I was just like, why are you here? Like, what are you serving? And I feel like they literally only put him into the movie to have somebody be able to save Peter's life in the end, which whatever. But when I
think there's more to it than that.
Yeah. But when I think about pointless side villains, he was definitely better than MODOK was in Ant-Man, because that was a pointless side villain.
Yeah.
That didn't need to be there at all. Complete waste of VFX money and just energy waste. But I didn't feel that way about Adam. He was better. He was better. But I mean, whatever. I kind of like what they did with him.
I could tell they're setting him up for something. And it's just the part that I didn't understand was, why did he join the team? I wish they would have like gave us a reason for that. For like, why did he stick around? He didn't have to stick around with them. Like, I don't remember if they like saved his life or something.
They did. They did save his life.
They did? Okay, all right. So then he's there. But the future is bright. Like, they're gonna do something with him. And I even read this clickbait article this morning. It said, oh, the MCU has found Kang's replacement. And then they started talking about Adam the Warlock. And so apparently he has an alter ego called the Magnus, something like that. That is the evil version of him. So imagine an evil version of him who's immortal and has all that OP power. That could be like a big threat to whatever. So
but they can't completely
I don't know if this
change.
Article was just it could be just all
that's
BS,
all speculation. I think
they
sure
can't
completely change course. Yeah, they can't completely change course of the big bad. I'd rather have them recast.
I know that's why I said it's clickbait.
Yeah,
they mentioned Kang in the heading, and they just wanted to theorize that this guy's alter ego might show up. I was kind of mad.
Everything is speculation now if you hear anything about Kang being recast, because I feel like Marvel has not officially announced that at all. So people are just saying things to say things. But speaking of, so Adam Warlock, he was okay. So how do we feel about kind of like the new Guardians that we saw at the end?
Wait. While we're going through the character, we can't skip over Drax.
Oh, yes.
And his arc. I thought that was special.
Yes.
That his whole dancing thing, like, he's not a dancer. He mentioned in all the movies that he's not a dancer, and he thinks people, like, he had the speech, there are people who dance, people who don't dance. And then for him to start dancing at the end, I thought that was that was important.
Yeah. Yes. And we have to talk about Gamora as well, because speaking of Vegeta, I think Gamora had a real Vegeta arc, her whole entire appearance in the MCU. She started off evil, just like, she started off evil, kind of just like Gamora, but like not really, because Gamora, her arc kind of progressed pretty quickly to being a good guy. But Gamora was Nebula, sorry. Was I saying Gamora the whole time? I meant Nebula. Nebula was kind of like more loyal to Thanos, and it took her longer to come around. And I feel like her character progression was really good, because she went from being a really bad guy to then now like being good, but like still being like kind of snippy to everyone. And then at the end, she like finally came in tune with her emotions, and like she learned to like love this family that she's in. Like it was, I think that watching she had a real like Vegeta type story arc, I think.
With her arc, that one scene in the movie where they were like, where the new Gamora, the new Gamora was like, the person you're describing sounds someone more like this chick, Nebula.
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty much pointing out what you're saying. Like she
Yeah.
went through the same. She's like the second coming of Gamora to the Guardians, and it fit. Like she has the same personality as Gamora, pretty much, and it's just like they're always at opposite ends of their argument between themselves, but they're almost like the same person.
Yeah. Yeah. And when everyone found out that Rocket was like conscious again and like he was okay, like when she covered her mouth like she was like gonna cry, I was like, this is good character progression. She's come a long way from where she was when we first saw her in the first Guardians. So I think she has the best character progression out of all of them. Her arc is like the best one, I think, for sure.
Do we care about Mantis? I don't have anything to say about Mantis.
Mantis is fine, as she always is.
Comic relief. She did her job.
Comic relief. And speaking of comic relief, James Gunn knows how to balance seriousness and comedy in a movie, unlike Taika Waititi with his horrible translation of Thor. Yeah. See, there's a way to do it and there's a way to not do it. And I think James Gunn knows how to do it in a way that's not too much. Like the comedy was there and it was often, but it was not. Yeah, it was a perfect balance of seriousness.
And then I feel like it was comedy for everyone, because like in my theater, like there was like half the theater would laugh at one joke and half the theater would catch something else funny. It was like a perfect balance. Like
it was a really good balance that didn't make the movie too corny. And James Gunn just knows how to do that, and not everyone does, so they should not attempt to try. So how do we feel? Does anyone care about Peter's overall progression? Not really.
Who, Peter Quill?
Peter Quill.
Not for real.
We got acknowledgement that he kind of like fucked everything, that he's the one that fucked everything up in Infinity War. He kind of admitted it when he was talking to the girl at the company. When he was explaining how Gamora was back, he said it was his fault. Basically, I'm like, good. I'm glad that he acknowledged that it definitely was his fault. But you know, Peter's story arc was fine too. It was nice that at the end he realized that like he shouldn't base his whole entire like everything he does around like Gamora and trying to get her back, and there's more to life. And it was nice that he went back to Earth. I like that closing progression for him.
For me, Peter Quill, that's probably why I always was like weird about Guardians of the Galaxy, because like with him as the leader, I didn't see like a purpose. Like, what is this team for? Like, what is their mission? What are they doing? Y'all just seem like space pirates. Like, it was just weird. Like, it's more fitting. Like with Rocket as the leader, I get it. Like, especially knowing his backstory, he's trying to say he's a guardian of the galaxy. It makes sense. But Peter Quill is just, I don't know. I never knew what his focus was, and him being obsessed with Gamora, that's just weird. Like, stop, bro.
Like, I mean, they were together. It wasn't weird.
All right, but she died. It is weird. You chasing after your dead girlfriend.
I mean, she died, but then like there's.
No, Shannon. If you're from a different timeline, you're a different person.
Yes,
you're not
but
the
it's
same
hard
person I was with. Just because you share the same DNA, is it okay for you to date the identical twin because she has the same DNA? Oh, you're the same person. You look just like my girl.
Okay, like, but I think that's easier said than done though. I feel like it was hard. I feel like if you were in love with somebody and then they died, but then like it is technically the same person, just a different version of them. Like that'll be hard if you're like coexisting now again in the same timeline.
Person, if it's a different version. That's a
I feel like
statement.
Though it makes
it the same person and different.
I feel like it makes it hard when you're coexisting in the same timeline with a different version of the person. James, whose side are you on right now? Who do you agree with more?
Treat them as an identical twin. No. Just because you got with one identical twin doesn't give you free reign to all the copied twins.
But he's still mourning, so he had to come to terms with that, though.
Okay, so let's say clones exist. Just because I got with one girl, do I have the right to get with all her clones?
No, but it just took him a while to come to terms with. He was still mourning and sad, so of course he felt that way. James, whose side are you on? Tell us whose side you're on right now in this argument.
I'm a true certified lover boy, so I think if I were to be in love with someone, and then they were to be gone, and then now there's a variant of this person, I think I would try to pursue like, all right, if this person was for me in this timeline, maybe this version of this person is for me in this timeline. But then that's also ignoring the fact that there's probably another me in that person's timeline. So then I'd be selfish to be like, all right, well, me from this timeline is rightfully, supposed to be pursuing all the versions of this person in every timeline. And then now I
That's
gotta
what
have
happened
a
with
battle
Kang.
royale.
That's how
without
Okay,
Kang
a-
wait.
became
Real quick,
Kang.
but James,
That's literally how Kang became Kang.
But do you acknowledge that it would be hard at first to come to terms with that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
agree with
Exactly.
that.
Okay,
I agree with
that's
that.
all I'm saying. It just took him. He had to come to terms with it. Like, he thought that he could be with this Gamora and be happy, but then he came to terms with the fact that like it's just not gonna like it doesn't have to happen.
No. I think it would be hard to come to terms with the person moving on more than coming to terms with I can't chase the variant of this person. I understand that I can't chase the variant, but I would take a very long time for me to get over the first one. Like,
Well,
I wouldn't
yeah,
be thinking
but like,
about the variant. I'd be like, the first one's gone. Like, fuck the variant. Sorry for excuse my
okay,
French.
but yes, but I just feel like it's hard because the person that you love and miss it's not the same. It's not the same person. You're right, but
All the
it's still
memories,
somebody. It's
all the
still somebody that
experiences you
looks.
shared,
It's still
like
somebody
all
that
the
looks and is that person that's right in front of you.
but
So
that's
yes.
all it is the shell. Like, there's nothing
Well, yeah, but
inside
that's what
that.
he had to come to terms with, which he did, like all throughout the
I
movie.
would.
We see
I'm
him
just saying,
trying, and
personally,
then
personally, I would have harder coming to terms with the death than no realizing that I can't chase the variant. I don't know.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree on that one. I think Peter. I think his arc was good in the end, and he learned that like he needs to go focus on himself, and that's what he went to go do. So, good arc for Peter too. Round it up.
Yeah, I'd have a similar arc given that same situation. Like,
Look
oh
at
man,
that.
a piece of my heart is missing, and then I see, the piece that I feel is the missing heart, from another timeline. Like, oh man, that person makes me whole now. So let me see what they talking about. But then,
yeah,
pursue. They'd be like, bro, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
I'd go through the same thing.
The part that makes me want to go on you guys' side is the fact that throughout the whole movie, they got closer. And towards the end, it's almost like she was about to go join that. Like, it was a 50-50 thing, whether she was going to go join the hug circle that they had or not. So I was like, all right. It proved like he was chasing her and he had a chance. Like, there was a chance that if she wasn't so connected to the Ravengers, it would have happened the same way. So you guys have a point.
Look at that compromise. So good arcs for a lot of the Guardians. It was a good send off for everyone when they decided to not continue as a team and then like go on to do their own things. It was a good send off for them. In the post credit scene, we kind of see what the new Guardians are. How do you guys feel about the new team?
Super hyped.
I think they're okay.
I'm really interested in this new Groot. This guy looks like a tank. Oh
God.
Now. I mean, he already looked like a tank, but he looks like a true blue tank.
He's scary, right? He's scary looking. I'm like, oh no.
Like the first team, they were good, but they weren't like OP. Like, Groot was probably the strongest one. Quill, he's a god, half god, but like he don't shoot lasers out his eyes or nothing like that. Gamora's a little assassin.
The new Guardian, they're only half OP. I feel
the new Guardians are OP. They got the Warlock. They got a telekinetic dog. They got the biggest Groot you've ever seen in your life. They got Rocket, who's a genius, who's like Batman with guns. Then they got a little girl whose powers we have no idea what they are, but they look cosmic as hell. Like, that team is OP.
Yeah.
They could go up against a lot.
Kraglin has that arrow, which I feel like once he masters how to use it, is also
like,
could be OP as well.
Their team is stacked now.
Yeah. But so we saw the new Guardians, but do you guys think that we're actually going to see any more of these Guardians? Like, will the Guardians 100%. Continue without James Gunn? I don't know if I want it to, though.
Yes, and it will.
I don't know if I want it to. But do you want it to?
Yes.
Do you think
100%.
that Guardians
I want to see that new team rolling when the Young Avengers are out. That's when we're going to see that new team. It's going to be like something like that.
But do you think that Guardians without James Gunn influencing them is going to be as good?
I don't know. I hope so. I would hope so.
I
Like
would
you
hope
got to
so
make a
too,
story
but
out of it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
I would hope so too, but I just don't know. I don't know. I don't
You know
know.
what I think they're gonna do? I think they're gonna make it a TV show, 6 episodes or however long, and then each episode is gonna focus on a different member of the team, and they're gonna have like their, like I'm the main character this episode kind of thing.
Mm.
Marvel, when you guys steal the idea,
build
cut me a
them
check.
up, build them up.
I don't
Yeah,
know. Like
I like it. They got to do
James
something.
Gunn is definitely one of the best directors this franchise had. And I don't know, like, especially like seeing like what we've gotten so far this phase. I don't know, like whoever takes us on. I don't know if
Like,
it's gonna be as good.
I would like them to expand on Adam Warlock, so I hope he's not just a throwaway like that. And I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of who else on the team they could really like do something with.
I think the people that I would want to take ownership of Guardians moving forward, if they're going to continue, is the Russo brothers. That's the only directing team that I would want to like take them, because like besides James Gunn, like they've produced the best content for the MCU with Infinity War and Endgame. So I just feel like they should just take it.
Listen, they said the legendary Star-Lord will return.
Oh my God.
So.
And that's what I was going to get to next. Like Peter Quill, do we want him to return though? Or I feel like I'm kind of done with Peter Quill. I feel like he needs to just stay on Earth and do what he's doing down there.
I mean, there's one caveat. If they start going into give us more in Celestials information, I'll be willing to see more Peter Quill.
But the thing is,
like
then
you
I
gave us
also
Eternals.
Yeah.
I want more of that stuff.
Do you think that somebody else is just going to take up the mantle of Star-Lord? Because I was reading an article with Chris Pratt the other day, and he was saying that he would come, and he could just be saying this to throw people off, but he was saying that like he would return to future projects if it made sense for him to, which makes it sound like he's not confirmed to do anything yet. I don't know.
I don't think he's confirmed to do anything.
Yeah, but then they put
and
that
we would have been heard about that.
But then don't put that he will return in the end credit title card.
Yeah,
because
that makes it sound like it's already something coming.
Yeah, that makes it sound confirmed. Unless
I mean, but it's like you're saying, it's a mantle. It's not really the actor. The actor doesn't have to return, but Star-Lord could return.
Yeah, but it's weird if like someone else just starts calling themselves Star-Lord without any proper handoff to like from one character
to the comics,
to the other.
there's been multiple Star-Lords. Like it's a name. It's like a mantle, like Spider-Man. Yeah. And like there could be multiple versions of that in the same universe.
Yeah. I think I'm done with Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. He was great for the amount of time that we had him, but yeah, I don't think he needs to continue. I'm more interested in seeing this new Guardians team without him at all. Yeah, and if somebody else wants to be Star-Lord, that's cool. Somebody else could do it. But yeah, I feel like that particular character though, I feel like we got a good closing story with him. Like he went back to Earth to like be with his grandpa and like live out his Earth time, so he just needs to stay down there. Don't come back to space, Peter. Don't come back.
I need more. I need more Celestial stuff. If you're give me more Celestial information about what's going on with that, because I feel like that's a storyline just left hanging. Isn't there supposed to be some machine sticking out of the Earth with their hand half out of the Earth?
What?
From a Celestial trying to?
Are you talking about from the Eternals?
Yeah. Or no, wasn't it in one of the more recent movies? Or maybe it was Eternals.
It was
the Celestial was trying to be born, and he was like growing out of the Earth.
Yeah, that was the Eternals.
What happened to that?
Well, who knows? That movie was a wash anyway, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with that.
I like that movie. It's in my top 10.
Your top 10? Eternals was in your top 10? Oh God.
I don't know about it. I'm not gonna cop to that.
Okay.
You know.
Cool.
Shock value. I was going for the shock value.
Eternals was in Jaja's top 10, everyone. I don't know.
I did watch that one twice.
I would never watch that movie again. I'm sorry.
I remember it was long.
Not until a direct sequel to that movie, or like a movie that like has directly to do with something that happened in Eternals comes out, I would not watch it again. I won't. It was too long and it wasn't great. But yeah, Jaja. Well, since it's top 10,
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right, so let's rate this movie now. 1 to 10. What do you guys give Guardians Volume 3? Who wants to go first?
10.
Easy 10 from James. Jaja, what about you?
Yeah.
Easy
10
out of 10. I also gave it a 10 out of 10. I have to watch it again to see if my and like watch it with a little more like details now to like figure out if my rating will stay the same. But I thought it was a perfect movie. It was a perfect end to a great trilogy.
To a trilogy. Usually the trilogies are the third movie is the wackest one out of the trilogy. For me, it's the total opposite.
Yeah. Did you think Civil War was the wackest movie out of the Captain America trilogy?
I don't see Captain America as a trilogy. Well,
it is a trilogy.
It is a trilogy. We named it what is Captain America.
It's Captain America, the first Avenger, then Winter Soldier, and then Civil War, which technically was an Avengers movie, in my opinion.
Oh no, that doesn't count. But usually there are outliers. He's one of the outliers. But usually, as the movies go on, they get worse and worse.
Okay, so let's
look
think
at
about
The Godfather. You like the third Godfather?
I've never seen any Godfather movie.
Oh.
Don't judge me, guys. Okay, wait. So let's rank. Okay, so we all gave it a 10 out of 10. Let's rank the Guardians trilogy amongst the other MCU trilogies. So we have the Captain America trilogy. We have the Iron Man trilogy. We have Thor trilogy. I think that's
Spider-Man,
the Spider-Man trilogy.
Avengers.
Yeah, if we want to count, yes. If we count the Avengers too, yeah. But I mean like more like single character or like single group trilogies and not like group team, not crossover trilogies. So we'll leave those out of
Guardians is a
no, they're a group, but it's not a crossover. Like that's the team.
And I'm throwing shade for you guys for not seeing the holiday special yet. I cannot believe I have not seen
I saw the holiday special.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I watched it.
Guardians
I watched it during Christmas time. I definitely saw it.
What are you talking about?
No, you did not.
Yes,
we tried to watch it. We tried to talk about it. You say you didn't watch it.
But I've watched it since then. I definitely watched it and I loved it. It was so good.
Okay, no problem. Yes.
I feel like
it was really good. I like that.
Maybe that was that James that didn't see it right away? Because I saw it right away.
Yeah, I saw it late, but I saw it.
Yeah, I think that was James.
Okay.
It was not me.
All right. Sorry for throwing shade.
And you kind of have to watch that because like I wouldn't say that any really important details travel over into that movie, but if you didn't see the holiday special, you would be confused why Mantis and Peter are calling each other brother and sister. You would be confused about where Cosmo came from, even though Cosmo still came out of nowhere.
That whole planet nowhere.
And them like having but it was really good. But in all those trilogies that I named, where do you rank Guardians as like a trilogy on that list? I feel like you guys don't remember these movies enough.
But besides Avengers, obviously Avengers would be at my top.
Oh, take out Avengers.
Iron Man is towards the bottom.
Thor is last. Thor is at the bottom for me.
Agreed.
And Thor is like not even a trilogy because there are 4 Thor movies. So, but
Thor has to be near the bottom. But I would say at the bottom. I would watch it again. No, let me just keep it at the bottom. Captain America. It would have to be a fight between Captain America and Guardians.
Yes, I agree. Or no, Spider-Man's pitch. So I know that Thor is at the bottom. Thor followed by Iron Man, I think. I loved the first Iron Man.
That's tough. I can't choose between those 3.
The second and third Iron Man were like so for me. So I would put that like second to last. Then I would have Captain America. And the Captain America trilogy, the Captain America franchise was my favorite franchise for a long time, but I think that Spider-Man and Guardians kind of beat it out a little bit.
I can't choose between those 3. Those 3 are my number one. They share that top spot of trilogy.
I think Spider-Man and Captain America are interchangeable at this point. I think actually maybe it's Spider-Man and then Captain America is above Spider-Man for me. And then Guardians is at the top for me.
I think Guardians has the best closing story. Like it wraps up everything real nice. So I would put Guardians at the top.
I would put Guardians at the top because I enjoyed literally all 3 of the Guardians movies immensely. And then I enjoyed all 3 Captain America movies immensely, which is why it's like second. Spider-Man, I was so about the second one, Far From Home. I didn't really like that one that much. So that's why it goes under, but I love the first one and the third one. And then everything else, I only really liked the first Iron Man and then the third Iron Man so. And Thor, I only really liked Thor Ragnarok. Everything else was kind of just not doing it for me. So that's my trilogy lineup. James, what about you? Do you remember the movies enough to rank the trilogies?
Not really. But I do know Spider-Man is number one for me. Easily. Thor is last.
Yep.
Easily.
Yep.
Where it gets in the middle, I would say Guardians probably like midway through. Not that it was like mid or anything like that, but I like Captain America, mostly Civil War. That's probably one of my favorite MCU movies. And I like Iron Man a lot. So I think
all three Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
Even the second one.
Which one was that?
That was the one with Whiplash.
War Machine.
Whiplash and War Machine.
Okay. Don't remember that one, but I remember I like Iron Man.
Because it was so forgettable.
The third one was the one where he brought out all the different versions of the Mark V and they were fighting at that construction site.
I like that a lot.
Second and third Iron Man, like I feel weird about them, but the first one is epic.
The first one's great.
I would put Guardians just above Iron Man for me, and then Captain America, then Spider-Man.
All right. Did you guys like the second Spider-Man movie? I really didn't like the second Spider-Man movie that much.
I don't remember it. I gotta go.
That was the one with
it's Mysterio.
We have Mysterio.
Oh, it was cool. I would have to rewatch it. I don't remember. I don't remember. So I don't want to say
it ended with his identity being exposed.
Yes, it did.
Then his world turned upside down.
Yeah. I remember that part.
But yeah, great movie. I'm definitely gonna try to go see it again. If you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, then you wouldn't be listening to this right now, but go see it if you haven't seen it. I don't know why. I don't know.
If you haven't seen it, what are you doing here?
Right, what are you doing here? But like, go see it
watch
again.
It and then come back.
Go see it again. Give it a second watch. Rewatch the whole Marvel trilogy, the whole Marvel franchise. Just do it. Rewatch all the Guardians movies. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, any more thoughts about the movie before we wrap it up, guys?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Well, guys, it's been a good week. As always, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Blerdsnerds. Send us an email, blerdsnerds@gmail.com, if you're interested in coming on the show. And if you have a topic that you would like us to talk about, you can email us or send us a DM, whatever you prefer. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast listening app of choice. As always, I'm Shannon.
I'm James.
I'm Jaja.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Peace.